Recently, I spoke on the show about Auckland University's new compulsory course for first-year students called Waipapa Taumatarau, which they say will teach knowledge of the Treaty of Waitangi and New Zealand history. As we discussed, it should not be mandatory, and there are concerns that the facts around the treaty and our history is highly contested. There are polarised views about whether Māori ceded sovereignty, for example, and the people who are involved in writing and delivering these courses may take a radical view of the treaty and may teach their opinions as truth. Well, if a person wants to study the treaty or New Zealand history, Māori mythology and te reo, they should enrol in a course to do it. That's fine, but not be forced to do it. And of course, this university, like many others around the country, also endorsed segregation by having rooms that were only for Māori and Pacifica. Well, my next guest says they have gone full racism with a third-year course in anthropology known as Anthro 377, Whiteness of the Settler State. What does this fresh hell entail? Well, from Hobson's Pledge, it's a very good afternoon to Elliot Ikilei. Elliot, good afternoon.
Oh, kia ora, kia ora. Very happy to be on the show, Leah. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to talk to you and finally to see you in person and have a chat as I do follow you, not like a stalker, but you know what I mean. Elliot, can you tell us what whiteness in the settler state is?
Right, yeah, so what it is a year 3 anthropological study. So students who are going through the Auckland University on their third year, they will be taking this course, and it is, as you said, whiteness in a settler state. It's effectively, it's teaching you how to think like a racist and perhaps even be a racist later on, but definitely how to think like a racist. It's quite shocking.
Is this, you've said this is kind of imported strongly out of places like the US. Do you think that's kind of where they're leaning?
Definitely. This comes from critical race theory that has been in the US. It's been doing a lot of mess through not just Black Lives Matter, but the idea of trying to make people who have never been slaves be paid reparations by those who have never been slave owners. It's quite the theory behind it comes from people like Robin DiAngelo, the white fragility writer, and people who use race and racism as a way to gain their own levels of power and control.
So I gather whiteness in a settler state would also look at decolonization, or if you're a white person, non-Māori or Pacifica, you are supposed to feel guilty? Is that kind of part of this?
So that's definitely there, but this is what you might refer to as a late game style ideology. So the ideas around decolonization and the anti-white sentiment that we see going through current studies of Indigenous studies and Te Reo Māori studies, this particular area effectively makes it that whiteness, this is what they refer to, whatever whiteness is, but they refer to as whiteness is being utilized as a silent mode. The invisibility of whiteness, they refer to it in their paper. And what that effectively means is white supremacy. They utilize the name white supremacy that is going into social habits and social concerns. There's a lot of fanciful language that effectively means that the lecturers and the academics make judgment calls as to what is white supremacy and therefore how you should be thinking instead. And it's extraordinary, the level of indoctrination language that they're utilizing in that paper.
You believe also there's a reason that this is available for year 3 students and obviously not the first or second year. What's your thoughts behind that?
Yes, so I couldn't understand why it wasn't in year 1. So I looked into terms such as cultist behavior and also indoctrination psychological studies. And what it came out with was that year 3 is the part where you've already had a lot of your value systems and your building blocks of your own personal life, your family values, those areas that you came into university. At year 3, it's already been broken down and reasonably weakened by the academics and lecturers, so that when this light game type of course comes into it, it's much easier to take a hold, because in the first year, a lot of students would very reasonably think this is very far out there. This is quite racist in itself. This is very damaging ideology. By year three, you've made links and social connections with other people who are inculcated by the academics. And by that
Mm,
stage, your level of holding on to normal, reasonable values is effectively shaken to the bones, where it can be replaced by the academics version of things.
yeah. Yes. Makes sense. And this course also draws substantially from work within anthropology, but I saw you'd presented this also outside, which include work such as Ahmed Franz Fanon, who, I mean, I don't know half these people, but I know that Fanon was a Marxist. Hooks,
Yes.
Kendi. I mean, these people mentioned, and there's a few more. I have no idea, but you had a look at them, correct? And what did you take away from that?
Absolutely. Other ones like Lee Morgan and P. Hemmer, all of them attest to a combination of, most of them are avowed Marxist or avowed socialist or avowed communist, as in
Mm,
they self-identify as these far left ideologies. You've
right.
also got them very strong in terms of LGBTQIAP plus extremist activities, not the reasonable side of things where you just want to be left alone, but rather the pushing into children and the drag time for kids, and this raft of things that have become more and more unreasonable, more and more extreme. They avow to the more far left ideological positions to hold in our current society. So this course also only takes one ideological position on
Oh,
anthropology and the system. There's no balance. There's no moderate or reasonable understanding about history being a messy place at all. It's straight ideological aligned activity.
jeez. Elliot, while I've got you, can I have your thoughts on New Zealand First proposing this new legislation to ensure the term woman is interpreted as an adult human biological female and man as an adult human biological male across all laws? I mean, it's great, but it's not government policy. It's got to be debated and pulled from, the biscuit tin first. So does it really mean anything?
It really can, and that's if it gets pulled out of the biscuit tin.
Mm,
The the position is a very, very votey type of, hey, look what we're doing something good. So that part is fair. It's something which they're just putting in there as a private members bill to see if they can do something. The
yeah.
second part, if it does get pulled, it will be a very valuable bill for us to really push hard on and discuss, and fight for. We do have the UK sentence that came out, or the UK decision, which is
Yes.
wonderful. The
Yes.
third thing I would say is, isn't it embarrassing? Isn't it I think it's actually a bit of a humiliation of history that we have to even say that a woman is a woman and a man is a man. That's where we are. And I think that's
I,
extraordinary.
Elliot, I said on the show earlier today that I was talking to you, and then I actually, one of my guests was Sal Grover from Australia. She's the one that's going through the Giggle v Tickle case, and she's been an advocate now for the last 3 years, pushing, come on, people. And we were like, she goes, if it wasn't so serious, it would be funny. And I said to
Yes.
her,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, imagine if you could go back to the 1990s person of Elliot and Leah and Sal and said, hey, guess what? In 2025, we're going to be debating what is a male and what is a female. We'd be like, you are bonkers. Stop it.
Right, yeah,
Don't
yeah,
be,
you're crazy. Come
you're
on.
crazy. What? How do we know what we are? And yeah,
Yep.
it is just, it's mind blowing. And for you to say that, I just thought, yeah, I do. Sometimes I think, how did we get to this? We can be so advanced in so many ways. And then now we're debating what is a
Yeah,
biological man and woman.
well, you know what, Leah? That's actually, I mean, there's a humorous element to that, but there's also a deeper part of that as well. You're
Mm,
right. Why is it? Why have our political leaders